If you're getting tired of playing against players that use the Sonia and Dimitri combination, you clicked on the right video, because in this video, I'm gonna tell you guys 5 of the best ways that you guys can use to easily defeat players that use the Sonia plus Dimitri combination. The last way is, in my opinion, the best way to do it, but first of all, let's start with the first way. Now, let's say that you attack an enemy, and as soon as the enemy's Sonia character skill gets activated, that enemy places a glue wall. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of players do in such a situation is that they try to quickly go and rush the enemy. Now, don't get me wrong, because you might be able to eliminate the enemy with that way, but the problem is, if the enemy is able to knock you down within those 3 seconds, when that 3-second counter starts, if the enemy using the Sonia character is able to knock you down, he will be able to get that HP back. But you need to remember one thing, which is that the person that is using the Sonia character, when that 3-second counter starts, if that person is not able to knock down a person within 3 seconds, that person will get knocked down. So one thing that you guys can do in such a situation is to place a glue wall and hide behind the glue wall. So if you take cover behind a glue wall, and if that enemy using the Sonia character skill is not able to take down an enemy down within those 3 seconds, that enemy with the Sonia character will get knocked down. But there's a small problem with this. If that enemy used the Dimitri character skill when that counter started, that enemy might be able to auto-revive himself back. But don't worry about that. In the second way, I will tell you guys how to deal with that. So now let's move on to the second way and see how to deal with that. Now, just like earlier, imagine that you attack an enemy and the enemy's Sonia character skill gets activated and that enemy places a glue wall. But unlike earlier, this time the enemy uses the Dimitri character skill when that counter starts. So in this situation, if the enemy is very close to you, you can just place a glue wall and stay behind the glue wall and just wait until those 3-second ends, and then you can go there and attack the enemy. But if the enemy is far away from you, one thing that you can do is just place glue walls and try to go towards the enemy. When the Sonia character's counter starts, you can just place glue walls and try to move towards the enemy. But you need to be very careful when doing this, because if the enemy attacks you, if you just misplace a glue wall and the enemy attacks and knocks you down, the enemy will be able to get the HP back. So you need to be very careful when you're placing the glue walls. And after those 3 seconds are over, if the enemy used the Dimitri character skill during the countdown time, that enemy might be able to come back. So as I remember, it will take around like 5 seconds for the enemy to like auto revive himself using the Dimitri character skill. So you need to try to quickly move towards the enemy and then eliminate him. So one way that you can do this is by using the Tatsuya character skill. If you remember, you can use the Tatsuya character skill to quickly move to different places. And another tip that I want to give you guys is that you can also use grenades on the enemy. You can just throw grenades. If you're not able to quickly move to that side, you can also throw grenades onto the enemy. So guys, now let's move on to the third way. Now when you use the third way, you will be able to disable the enemy's character skills. So that means that the enemy won't be able to use either the Sonia character or the Dimitri character. And the way to do this is by using the A124 character skill. If you remember, when you use the A124 character skill, you will be able to disable the enemy's character skills for 30 seconds. So this can especially be very useful in Clash Card matches. First of all, you can see which enemies are using either Dimitri or Sonia, and afterwards you can target that enemy and use the A124 character skill on that enemy. Now guys, let's move on to the fourth way. Now the fourth way is actually one of the ways that I personally use to play against players that use the Sonia plus Dimitri combination. And you might have heard of a quote which says, if you can't beat them, join them. Now what I mean by this in this situation is that you can also use the Sonia character skill, or both the Sonia character skill and the Dimitri character skill, against the enemy. So if both of you are using those two character skills, it's gonna be a fair fight, right? So that's another way that you guys can deal with these types of players. But I know that some of you guys might also not have the Sonia character, or some of you guys might also not have the Dimitri character skill. So here are some tips and tricks for people that don't have either one of these two characters. The first way is to use the horizontal line. You can use the horizontal line to come back after getting knocked down. And the second way is to use a character that will increase the HP, or a character that will increase the HP capacity. So if you just keep getting HP, or if you have more HP, you will be able to survive a lot more longer in the fight. So guys, now let's move on to the fifth way. Now before I tell you guys the best way to deal with players that use the Sonia plus Dimitri combination, I want to tell you guys another tip. And that other tip is to expect players to use the Sonia character skill. For example, let's say that you do a lot of damage to an enemy, and you know that if you hit this next shot, you're going to be able to take down the enemy. And if you put your guard down, that enemy, if he uses the Sonia character skill, he might attack you back. So make sure that you don't put your guard down, and always expect the enemy to use the Sonia character skill. Even if the enemy doesn't have the Sonia character skill or the Dimitri character skill, just expect the enemy to use it. Don't let your guard down. So with that being said, now let's move on to the fifth way. Now guys, this fifth way can be very useful in close range fights, and the reason reason that I say this is because the Sonia character won't be able to attack you for 3 seconds when you use this trick. And if you remember, if the person that is using Sonia, when that 3-second counter starts, if that person is not able to take down an enemy within 3 seconds, that person will get knocked down. So now the trick is to use the Orion character skill. As soon as the enemy uses the Sonia character skill, when that Sonia character's counter starts, try to quickly use the Orion character skill. If you remember, the Orion character is invincible for 3 seconds during that skill. So since the Sonia character won't be able to take you down within those 3 seconds, that person using the Sonia character will easily get knocked down. And another thing about the Orion character is that the Orion character can also absorb HP if the enemy is very close to you. So if there's a person using the Sonia character skill very close to you when you're using the Orion character skill, you can quickly knock down that enemy using that HP absorbing skill as well. Now if you guys want to know tips and tricks on how to use the Orion character skill, make sure to check out this video. So that's it for today's video guys. I'll see you guys later on with another video, and until then, take it easy fam. Peace.